Hey, I want to talk about how to deal with a horse that has built resentment and that has led to reluctance already, and how you want to overcome that. One of the first things you want to understand is what built the resentment. In this guy's case, it was because he was held with high hands, high head, never given a break, never given a release, and so he never got paid for any effort. And then he was asked to do quite a bit held in that position. You can see his mouth gaping, and it's just kind of ugly. So knowing that that's what his root of his resentment is, we're going to ask very little of him because he was asked a lot. We've already had our discussions where we had to get a little firm because he actually bit me, and that's a big time no. And now it's time, so he has his boundaries are set. Now it's time to bring his life back into him, bring his spirit back. And we can't do that really without understanding what is in his head. Now that's a big challenge. Who knows if we actually get there. But the effort to understand where he's coming from makes me think that, okay, now he's learned he's going to get some release, but he's very worried about what's coming in the future, right? So if I ask him to lope, he thinks he's going to lope for 3 hours and it's going to be terrible and he's going to be pulled on and never get let go. So we want to dispel that thought in his head. So his anxiety is not about anything other than the workload he thinks is ahead of him. So to fix that, we're going to trot and lope circles, but we're going to start out just asking him to go a quarter or a half of the circle. And then we'll do that for a little while. And once he feels like he gets a little comfy, and this requires your tuning in to how he feels, then we'll go to 3/4 or a half to 3/4 to a lap to 2 laps, and we'll slowly build it up. We just want him to understand every time we give him an ask, it's not just asking for his guts. It's not asking for too much. It's well within his capabilities and his comfort zone. So it's can be a long process. We'll see how his progress goes, if he kind of gets that understanding quickly, or if it's a really deep-seated thing that's going to take a while. So I'm just going to ask him to walk off. And see, he's even reluctant to walk off. He's like, oh man, when I move my feet, it's never a good idea. So I'm just going to walk half the circle, give him a little pet, and we'll just do another half of the circle. And I'm not being precise about bending or steering, I want minimal pressure from me. And I'm not waiting for a big lick and a chew and, a big sigh, because he is so puckered up. We'll be here till dark waiting for that at this point. So I want him just to start thinking. And I don't know if you can tell, but he's walking off way easier. And I can feel him relaxing. And that's an important thing, is for him to let go of a lot of that worry, anxiety, and to trust that everything's not going to be the hardest thing in the world again. And he's already starting to feel like he's thought this through a little bit. See, pretty easy leave. Now I'm going to go past where we've been stopping. He's going to want to stop here. I'm just going to push him a little further. Not a lot. We're just gaining a little bit of ground. And I know this seems like a very slow, tedious, boring process, and it is. But it's what's good for him. So a lot of times we do what we think's fun for us, and we forget we have a partner involved, and if they're not bought in, it's never going to really work. Okay, we'll go for a whole lap. Walk a whole lap. And he's, head down. He's starting to not worry. He feels really relaxed at this point. So he's starting to buy into it's just not going to be the worst thing in the world when he begins to move his feet. And that's what we want. We want him to go, yeah, I can do that. It's not that big a deal. Otherwise, we're always going to have that resentment there. So now we can't fix the resentment, but we can fix the reluctance that hopefully fixes the resentment. So as it goes resentment to reluctance, and as you go backwards, you go fix the reluctance to fix the resentment. Okay, I'm just going to ask him to see if we can trot a little bit without getting him upset. And I'm going to rate him walk and trot. So I'm not going to come to a stop every time. Sometimes I will, sometimes we'll walk. There's my ask for a trot. And there's my rate down. And if he wants to stop, great. If he wants to walk, that's cool too. I'm going to minimize what I tell him. I'm giving him some choices, and he's never had choices, so it's going to be a little confusing for a minute. And he's free to stop or walk at any time here. So it's kind of cool. He's going further than I would have asked him to. So pick up our trot again. All I'm doing is keeping him in this circle with a little bit of inside hand that he can follow, but there's no pressure. You see the slack in the rein. There's no pulling, there's no pressure, but it is sort of there. If he straightens, he hits pressure. If he stays in the bend, he doesn't. And again, he's free to decide at what point he wants to come down. Now there's another horse coming in the arena, so that's going to get his attention. And we'll see if that changes anything. So now he's preoccupied. Do I go to the horse? Do I get mad? Do I listen? What do I do here? Too many options. And he's coming down again. So this is all really, really, really good news that he's deciding himself to come down longer than I would have asked him to go. So the horse distracted him a little bit. There. So I don't know if you can tell, he feels more willing to me to kind of pick it up. That one, there I lied, that one was not very willing. I'm just waiting. It's up to him. Loose rein, he can do whatever he wants. And I'm not going to spend an hour stopped because I do want him to realize, you know, there's a break, but we're not done for the day. Sorry, hit him by accident there. Pushed him a little further, but no big deal. There we go. He's starting to understand it's not going to be this big deal. He's starting to get this. It's okay to relax. You don't have to hold that tension all that time. Okay, now he's kind of picked this spot as his fave, so I'm going to push him through that. First time I've asked him to go further than he wants at this point in this trotting part. So he's thinking this is the stop place. I'm just going to ask him to go past it. Now he can decide where. Good. I don't know if you could hear that. There's just a big breath. And he's kind of coming to life more. If you notice early on, he was pretty shut down. Now he's checking out the other horse. He sees people around, he's looking, he's checking into things. So there's a lot going on versus him just going, oh no, I just am checked out, I hate everything. So let's go try this again. And I'm going to push him past his favorite stop place, but then it's up to him to go wherever he wants. Pretty close to the favorite stop place. Let's see if he comes down one more time. There's a little lick, it looks like. Good. So what we're getting is a lack of resistance. So he's starting to settle down. So I'm going to open the circle a little bit. He has to travel a little further, and let's just see how this plays out. And again, he's choosing where he stops and when he wants to stop. I'm going to ask him to lope this time. The other horse is right there. And again, he can come down whenever he wants. Good. Okay. Let's ask again. And he can do whatever he wants, and he's coming down. So that's good. Let's go the other way. And again, it's up to him. It's his decision. So that's the basic way you get started. I won't make you watch me do circle after circle after circle. But the key points are we have a horse full of resentment that led to a lot of reluctance, that led to some misbehavior, set of parameters, which we've done. And now we're just trying to build his confidence back and fix some of that anxiety that's just eating him up because he's so worried about his workload coming. So he doesn't look very worried now. So you got to understand what's motivating that reluctance. You can't just beat on him and try to get more. And I don't know. It's going to be an ongoing process with this guy.